I think that the journey of being an artist is very, very much connected to mental health, because being an artist is just pure soul exploration. So that's body, mind, spirit, everything. As a Black woman, there's so much that is kind of thrown at us. And I think that being an artist and just being vulnerable in that is a way to show up and lead by example and show others that you can be confident in yourself, confident in what you do, you can have a message, and really just be yourself. And I think that art allows me to be my best self. My name is Cortney Herron. I am based in Los Angeles, and I am an oil painter. I started painting at the very early age of 3, and ever since then, I feel like I kind of always knew I'd be an artist. I will say that I never thought I would be here as a full-time artist. I knew art would be in my life in some way, but to be in this position now, to be doing art full-time, is just kind of crazy. I feel like in high school was when I really just found myself as an artist. You know, I'd come home from school and I'd just go straight to my room, shut my door, turn on my 6-disc CD changer to age myself, and just paint. And it was just the happiest time in my life. But I think that, you know, you get to a certain point in life when you love what you do, but you get older and you have influences from the world, parents, society, that say, maybe find something a little bit more stable. So I feel like that's why I decided to go to, I went to UC Davis and studied graphic design. You know, while I am an artist, a painter, traditionally, there's a lot of influences with graphic design. I feel like I like to create art that feels almost dreamlike. Like I'm creating a world. Like my art has kind of just become this world in itself. With that in mind, I usually will sketch. I'll, grab my iPad and sketch digitally, and just to get some ideas down, colors, and really just starting from there. That's really like my sketchbook in a sense. So after that, I will often just go straight to canvas. So I kind of like to keep the digital version or the sketch as its own thing, and use that almost as inspiration to then go to canvas. A sketch on the iPad might be a little bit more basic, but then I have the canvas to really just play and explore. I have the artist brain, and I also have my graphic design brain. So a lot of times when I'm working with brands, I can see their vision, and I can also see mine. So, and I appreciate having those skills and using them together. I feel like it's truly helped me in a way. When I first started sharing my art, I feel like I really was focusing only on faces. So it was really just about portraits and the face and kind of playing that up. But as I grow and I develop, I want to just let my art do the same thing. So that really just means exploring everything. Definitely am excited to explore more animals. I've been kind of on this wave of almost creating this like dream world where this place where I even want to live. A lot of my work kind of like, it's definitely gotten a little bit more surreal, just in terms of style, the forms and figures and these women. I'm starting to bring in all of these new elements of almost this like dream world, like I said, these birds and like almost like feathered serpent type creatures. In my head, I have ideas of like, the colors that I might want to use, like how I want the shadows to play, how I want, what colors I want to pop, for example. But I'll get to a certain point where then I need to step away and let the art just kind of sit and simmer, see what I've created so far. I can step away for an hour, I can step away for a week, kind of just depends on how I'm connecting to that painting. And oftentimes when I do come back to it with, fresh eyes, fresh perspective, I'm able to kind of put those finishing touches on it in a way that maybe looked way different than the original sketch that I started with on the iPad. Paired with just the peacefulness of being outside, you kind of let yourself feel those feelings, those emotions. And I think that's when I'm able to channel a lot of those concepts of showing these figures outdoors. It's a very like mind, body, spirit connection, just in terms of actually creating. It's the reason why I'm, instead of using white to lighten something, I might use yellow, or instead of darken something with black, I might use brown. It's those decisions. It's softening things. It's listening to those, outside inspirations and intentionally making those decisions with color palette, with texture, even framing. Just add something to it that I feel like only comes from just those outside inspirations. So my creative routine is all about channeling reflection, and a lot of it is very much a solo game. Setting the right vibe really just helps me go deep. So that means, making sure that I have my music playing. It's usually headphones on. It's kind of tuning out all the noise and cultivating a nice environment to be able to create in somewhat of a sanctuary. And I feel like that's when I really just channel my best work. Working with new mediums, oil is definitely like home base for me in a sense, but I love texture and just the way things feel. I'm taking a ceramics class soon, so just, getting more into that, like working with my hands a little bit to kind of create these things that exist outside of the canvas. I hope that the audience, when they view my work, they're first able to really just feel calm and just take a moment. I think that art is such a almost like visceral experience in a sense, and I think that being able to see my work and be stopped by it and to take it in and just take a moment is really what I want the viewer to do. And I think once that happens, then they're able to kind of just sit with it and really absorb whatever emotions kind of come to them. I would say when it comes to my artistic vision, life is always going to inspire me. It's always going to be something that fuels how I create. But in terms of like other experiences, I would really say just seeing other artists create. I feel so inspired seeing my peers' artwork. I love, and as much as I'm an artist, I love to collect the artwork of my friends, and I think what it is that inspires me is the guts that artists have. Working with commercial brands as an artist is really cool. I think that there's something exciting about collaborating with a brand that kind of just sees you. They see some sort of spark in my artistic vision, and it's allowed me to not only just be confident in my own artistic vision and just the decisions I make as an artist, but is motivating. Art is truly just the most important thing to me because it's so connected to who I am as a person. And as long as I'm me, I'm going to be an artist.